What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the FloGrappling Show, aka the worst show on the internet. Super stoked to bring you guys this episode today. As always, I'm Trey Robinson. We got Uncle Reed over here on the side, Joey Gilps over on the far desk, and then right here, the legend himself, Xande Ribeiro. Everybody give it up for Xande.
Clap it up for Xande. Thanks for coming, Xande. Thanks, Xande.
Yeah, Xande, you know, glad to have you here. This is the new studio. I don't think you've been to this one. You've obviously spent a lot of time in the old office doing commentary flow, all that stuff. But how's it feel to be here? You know, what made you want to come and do the podcast when we asked you?
Well, when FloGrappling calls me, I can't say no.
That's right.
I mean? You guys do an amazing job informing people, educating people. I was even telling Joe with Mark earlier that when AJ was doing the project to bring grappling to floor sports, he drove all the way from Malibu, whatever, you know, the guys in Malibu, please stay safe, and in LA. He'd say, hey, I'm doing this project with FloGrappling. They want to do a grappling event for this. And he showed me the platform and all that. I'm like, bro, count on me. Let's do this. You know, Jiu-Jitsu needs something like this. And of course, you know, for me, just talking about Jiu-Jitsu, talking about projects, talking about what the future is, count me in.
For sure, you know, glad to have you here as a part of Flow and everything. Obviously, we couldn't do it without people like you, so incredible here. But I know you've got a lot of stuff going on. You're gonna be competing in the upcoming Euros, you know. But I kind of want to just kick it off and just talk about just Jiu-Jitsu in general. You know, it's a kind of a crazy time for Jiu-Jitsu right now. How have you kind of seen Jiu-Jitsu through the years?
And you know, that story that you were telling, that's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
10 years, yeah.
It's been 10 years. It started in October 2015. So that's 10 years ago, basically, that you were having that conversation.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy 10 years, but especially this last couple of years have been particularly crazy. But yeah, just curious to hear your thoughts.
Congrats, guys. You know, I know it's a hard job to do. You know what I mean? Like, I think informing people, educating people, but also driving content, you know, make the business work is very difficult. Definitely, I think also, I think the grappling, I don't know, just my understanding that during COVID was the only thing happening was grappling. So I think Flow Sports should also, I think that really helped to see the value of grappling within the company, right? Because I think you guys have to always prove yourself because it's all about the numbers game, right? And I think during COVID with who's number one, with the shows, I think grappling within the organization really proved its strength, you know? And I think the world of Jiu-Jitsu is blowing. You know what I mean? Gi, no gi, events, you know what I mean? I think it's important for us to stay up to date and, like I said, inform people, educate people, and keep people in the martial art way.
Definitely. So, you know, I was reading your BJJ Heroes before this, getting some tidbits and whatnot. You got your black belt in 2001, right?
2001.
So coming up on 24 years as a black belt, not just in Jiu-Jitsu. That's kind of an incredible thing. I'm only 27, so you've almost been a black belt for as long as I've been alive. What was?
Are you calling me old, bro?
No, not that. I'm just saying, like, you know, what was it like in 2001 as a black belt doing Jiu-Jitsu? You know?
Well, I think I started in 1991.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm from the time that knee on the belly was 3 points, guard pass was 2. To get a sweep, you had to hold the guy's back on the ground, and ripping was allowed. I don't know why they took that away. I learned foot lock as a 10-year-old boy, ripping, triangling my legs and going. Can openers were legal, crucifix were legal, all that legal. Even slamming was some sort of legal at the time. So I don't know why they make Jiu-Jitsu so weak now. But anyway, in 2001 it was pretty interesting because even though I'm a bit critic, not being a critic, but I did get my black belt in a no-gi event.
Really?
Yeah. And was the Arnold Classic. You know, I met Arnold Schwarzenegger, was the first event. I was in Columbus, Ohio, Chris Blanky, where the Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu Association at the time started. I fought this guy called Alexandre Cacareco. He was like the man, the no-gi scene. So, you know, just try to making a point of our viewers, Jiu-Jitsu and Luta Livre, right, aka no gi, they were always fighting like you know, like porrada, you know, like there was no grappling, right? There was no who's number one, no gi show off. So Cacareco was the first guy from Luta Livre that kind of came to those events, and he was ripping everyone off. And I'm a 20-year-old boy, no muscles. There's a picture. I'm like so skinny, and Cacareco is just, you know, a tank. You know, the Blanca from the show Street Fighter. Yeah. So I fought him, and I got slammed, but I kicked his ass. You know what I mean? I went to the top, I mounted him, I choked him, and then my brother gave him a black belt. give him my black belt, right? And at the time, I fought Worlds in 2000. I won as a brown belt, but I won it for hurt knee. And I kind of wanted to like do open division. I wanted to like establish myself as a brown belt a little longer. And then my brother got a little upset at me and said, are you saying that I shouldn't have given the black belt? And I just want to say, what's the point behind it? I said, well, you prove that your jiu-jitsu is good in all levels. You know what I mean? You're a great jiu-jitsu guy, and then you fought the best no-gi guy, and your jiu-jitsu translated to that environment, and you kick his ass. So I think that demonstrates the value of your jiu-jitsu. I was like, wow, I never saw that way, you know? And then 2 months after that, that was the Pan Ams, 2001, and my first term as a black belt, and I lost to Gordo, the half guard master, and I'm like, shit, man. But like, man, this guy's been a black belt for as long as I've been alive. Yeah. And then I fought the open division, and then I won the open division. I was like, I guess I belong. So that was the environment that I was. IBJJF was in, I think that was Florida at the time. There was not much. We fought 3 times a year, 4 times a year. A couple events like the Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time, I think was like $4,000 was the biggest. I was like, oh my God, $4,000. That's like 20,000 reais at the time. So that's all you had, like little bits of things like this. So fast forward to 24 years later, it's great. It's almost too much information. There's so many events, so many things. I guess if you allow us, I think there's too many events for not so many stars. I think that's kind of an issue that we have right now. People that can compete at the level, people that can sell at that level. You know what I mean? I think you guys fall into that if you want to go on that word. But anyway, I think it's good to that we as martial artists, you need to catch up. We need to get quality athletes, quality human beings to step up the game and create a great industry for the future.
For sure. I kind of understand what you're meaning. For sure. There's almost like an overexposure of jiu-jitsu from all levels. I could be training for 9 months and take a blue belt super fight on some local show or something, because there's just are so many events.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Of all those levels and everything. I want to ask you another thing about kind of, you mentioned luta livre and gi jiu-jitsu and how it was all pohada back then. What was kind of training no-gi like back then? Did you have specific training sessions? Was it just kind of always gi? What was that like?
Was it even called no gi at the time?
No, it was all jiu-jitsu or pohada. So what people don't understand, look at my shirt. See that?
Yeah.
It says jiu-jitsu.
That's right.
That was dangerous. For you to walk around at the time, there was a lot of like the grace challenges. So wearing a jiu-jitsu shirt or a luta livre shirt on the street was a problem. Because let's say you're a luta livre guy, he'd be like, what? What are you looking at? What? You the type of guy that thinks jiu-jitsu is better? Like,
we're instantly enemies.
Yeah, we're instantly enemies. I'm talking about me being an 11-year-old boy walking the street and cannot do that. Like, so there's no such thing as like jiu-jitsu shirts, for example. You know what I mean? So that was very difficult. And for that point, and also maybe ego, it's funny because if we're in a barbecue, we'll still be grappling our sungas, but we wouldn't train.
Yeah.
The only time we trained without the gi, we just took the top off and we did some slap fighting, like some stuff like that. And sometimes you do like with the shorts. So we never took the gi off unless to train self-defense or street scenarios. Like we did a lot of like in the Monteiro Academy. That's the one that I started back in Brazil, in Manaus. We did like gang fights. We did stuff like 4 teams and 2 teams against each other. And if you tap the guy, now you can help the other. Sometimes if the last person, there's like 5 guys slapping the shit out of you. You know what I mean? That was the environment. Now there's like rash guards, funny things, a shitload of jiu-jitsu shirts, and this whole intertwine between what is jiu-jitsu. Is no-gi jiu-jitsu. I think there is the fundamental differences as far as martial arts, because I was going to honor where it came from, from the luta livre. I was, me and Josias, I always say, Xande, you're the only jiu-jitsu guy that say that's luta livre. And for me, it will always be luta livre. But it got mixed, it's just how it is. You know what I mean? It's the same thing if you call Greco-Roman judo, right? For me, that's the analogy I make. What's the difference between freestyle wrestling and judo? The uniform. You know what I mean? You can't call grappling Greco-Roman judo, right? So by definition, we can go that direction. You know what I mean? But I think there are two beautiful things. Hugo Duarte is in America now. Maybe he'll bring some of that. It just get complicated for the new people. So unfortunately for them, no-gi jiu-jitsu or grappling took over, But in the end, for me, as long as there's people grappling, doing jiu-jitsu, doing no-gi, American jiu-jitsu, I could care less for that. You know what I mean? For me, it's all the same. It's just a matter of marketing, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh man, let me call this, let me call that. You know what I mean? And I think we waste too much time thinking about that instead of in training and actually empowering the new generation.
For sure.
I was gonna ask. So did you get into any street fights or any brawls that with the Luta Libre guys that you could tell us about?
Not really. For some reason, I don't know if it's something about the aura or the way I did myself. Like, I never really had a problem. You know what I mean? I don't know why. They would look at me, I would look at them, I would be kind of scared. They'd be like, hey. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, hey.
I get it.
But my other guys, they would come on Monday like, oh, I had a scrap with this Luta Libre guy. I don't know, for some reason, they respected me. Maybe they felt I was just this little crazy kid, middle high class. I don't know. I have no clue what it is. I just think it was a God-given gift that I'm not under trouble. So there was a mall in Manaus that they had sections, right? The Luta Libre section and the everyone else section, right? Many times I would be there, I would go home. Next day I found out there was a fight right after I leave. One thing only happened once. When it happened more than once is a problem. So I don't know, you know what I mean? Maybe if I would have one of those fights, maybe I would have killed somebody. I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe they would have killed me. Because I'm one thing that they talk a lot about controlling your beast. I always felt that I had something inside of me that could be dangerous, and maybe that's why jiu-jitsu is so important for me, because it tamed that. But also I always measure the consequences, Why am I gonna, if the guy yells at me in a club, I go out a lot. Like, sometimes you bump on someone, or I'm drunk, or I'm gonna flirt with a girl, and then the guy, hey, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm the wrong guy here. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey man, I'm so sorry. I have a zero problem going home safe. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Luckily, I never had a scrap, but I trained a lot. We trained a lot of like porrada. We trained a lot of like, there was a time that our school was doing a challenge with Luta Libre guys. We're training bare knuckle. Like, I was 12-year-old boys punching the other bare knuckles to train. So I never been in a real fight like that. But we train a lot. That's for sure. Whatever, I just train a lot.
Prepared for it.
Yeah, I was prepared for something that never happened. So I was lucky.
I think there's an aspect there where generally it feels like the people who don't train and aren't actually prepared are the ones who kind of like bump into you at a bar or whatever and seem more likely to want to get involved in something like that. So maybe there was a certain unspoken confidence or something you had where I was like, well, I'm actually very well prepared for anything that could go down.
Also, I could have run too.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
it comes to
were you very fast?
Yeah, I could.
Pretty big for a Manowara too.
Was a lot of this stuff, like this training you talked about and everything, was all this going down in Manaus, or
Manaus,
you eventually moved to Rio, right?
Yeah, I moved to Rio to go to college. So for 1991 until end of 1998, I was all in Manaus. The Monteiro brothers, they're black belts from Hoyler and Hickson, so we came from the lineage. Saulo moved in 1992 because Saulo and I were about 6.5 years apart, and he went to college. And I stayed behind and I trained and I won Brasileiros in 1993 and I won like Northwest. And then I did bad in school and my mom said, you're not training. So, and at the same time, my sister married my teacher, and then that was the whole thing. And then they broke up, and I got upset, and I thought I was going to leave my school. And that when the first World Championship happened, in 1996. And the first world champion ever, his name is William Couto. He won the Roosterweight blue belt.
Wow.
That's why he's the first one ever.
Gotcha.
And that was a Manaus final. Manaus, I was there.
Always.
Against Rodrigo. Rodrigo is Paulo Coelho's brother, God to have Rodrigo. And that's what it is. And he comes back. And I was like, I say, whoa, William won the Worlds. I'm like super happy for my friend, right? But then we go train, we're like, you got nothing on me. You know what I mean? So I felt like, whoa, maybe there's something there. And that's when 1997, At the time, which I would like the IBJJF maybe figure out something to do, you had to win state championships to be at the Worlds. So I was a juvenile. I won juvenile, like the state championship, but the guy from the adult division didn't have the money to go. And I said, can I go and represent Amazonas? They're like, yeah, sure, you can go. And then I went, compete, I could third. I lost to Rodrigo Pinheiro, that he's in San Antonio, and the winner, the champion was Fernando Tereré. So that was my first experience, like real experience in Rio. 6 months of training, I went there, took third in my first World Championships.
And what belt was that?
Blue belt.
That was blue.
I was a juvenile and I fought adult.
Wow, that's a interesting little fact there. The first ever IBJJF World Champion was a Manauara, huh?
Yeah, William Couto, his name. You know
That's
what I mean?
incredible.
He's a great dude, super good. Like the first World Championship final ever was between two guys from Manaus.
I feel like more and more people now, obviously jiu-jitsu is an interesting thing because it has such a high churn of like thousands and thousands of new people are going to start jiu-jitsu this month, you know, and they're going to get their blue belt, whatever. And there's this entire history and everything they can look back on and have to start like kind of learning about, that they don't know a ton about Manaus still. And I feel like more and more people do know about Manaus. But what is it about Manaus that makes it so special? A place where I feel like if you just group together a bunch of random world champions, like half of them will be from Manaus.
Yeah, that was I think that was 1 year there. We had like 5 world champions from Manaus. I don't know, maybe the equator rotates more and we have some sort of energy goes more. I don't know. You feel south and then you're just here, right on the earth. Anyway, that's just my spiritual. I don't know. Like if you look back, I think there's Manaus always had, the north of Brazil always had a big Japanese community. So I think there's from there. We always have a big judo influence. If you look at the Grace family, they come from Belém. And there's a story, if I'm not mistaken, maybe someone can say it, Haler's book about Carlos tells that Gaston took Maeda from Manaus to Belém. There's a little story there, if I'm not mistaken, maybe we should look into that. Because the Gracie's dad, Gaston Gracie, he owned like entertainment company. I think that's what the whole story. And Maeda was in the circus, like whatever they did. So because Carlo was going through the whole process as a kid, he's like, okay, let's bring the guy back to Belém. So I think the north of Brazil itself, Belém and Manaus have a big history. And there's like there's a movie called Clãs das Jiboias that talk about the history of Jiu-Jitsu in Manaus. And I think we have a lot of history, you know what I mean? I think even when Jiu-Jitsu went to the south, like as it was, or you can call it Judo, I think we already had people training there. So I think it's in our DNA a little bit. Also, we don't have beaches.
Yeah,
so
that might be a huge factor.
You know, I think there's something to do with the air. Maybe it has something to do with the climate, like the weather. You know what I mean? Kids in Brazil, they work hard. Like I grew up climbing trees and running from dogs in the street. You know what I mean? Like, so you're always in that space of fighting. You know. Also, Manaus is somewhat a very dangerous place too. You know what I mean? So we were always alert. We always in this state of like anything can happen. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of that. I think there's a DNA problem. No problem. The good thing about the DNA, I think there's the weather, the açaí, the food, the fish. You know, we're so close.
Tambaqui, where you eat a lot of tambaqui?
Tucunaré, yes, piranhas. You know, this scar was a piranha.
That's insane.
Yeah, well, I fished and the thing fell on my face. Anyway, they had to cut me with the fishing line. I don't know. I think there's a lot into it. You know what I mean? And I think people from Manaus, we're very connected to the whole idea of the plants, of the Amazonia. You know what I mean? I'm very proud of like, you know, God Tupã. You know what I mean? When there's raining, it's not raining, it's Deus Tupã. You know, we have the plant medicine, you have Cambo, Ayahuasca, the food, the people, and also people just want to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of that too.
Whenever I was lucky enough to go to Manaus a couple times, and when I went there with Mika, we went out on a boat, and Mika said like, oh, you know, there's a lot of dangerous things in the water. And I was asking about piranhas because obviously that's the one you think of whenever you're just like an American. And he's like, oh, don't worry about those. If the way you know there's a piranha is someone will be in the water and they'll get a little bite and then just get out of the water. Everybody run out of the water.
Yeah.
I was like, that's actually how I'm supposed to know if there's a piranha or not? This is terrifying.
Well, they usually don't get you. If you have an open wound, they had a thing. All right, that's a funny story. So they had a thing, if you were red was a problem.
Oh, no.
I was like, whoa, maybe it's like the bull, right? So anyway, one time I had a red sunga and someone pushed me in the water. Man, I tell something, I cry. I wanted to punch the guy and I'm crying. Like, I never wore a red sunga.
Never again? Well, that's good to know. Whenever I go get a sunga, I'll make sure it's, you know...
White.
Yeah. I don't know about white either, but maybe like black. I'll go black.
Okay, go black. Never go wrong with that.
Yeah, but definitely try some tambaqui. That was really good. Fabricio Andre made me eat the eyeball of the tambaqui. I don't know if that's something I'm actually supposed to do, but...
You can, yeah. My dad only eats the head. My dad was like, nope, just leave the head for me. My dad is a pure caboclo, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously you got, you know, Mika Galva out there. He's kind of the guy right now. I feel like, and he's very proud to be from Manaus and everything. What do you think about Mika and what he's been doing lately?
Man, you can't. The kid is just a great example. Works hard. Is very talented, and he's very talented, but also works hard a lot. You know, people say, "Oh, he's just no." He works hard. You know, like I know people. This guy, you know, his father also very methodical. His father was in the police, so takes all that discipline from him. You know what I mean? Yeah, and maybe he has some Amazonian power on him, and it gives an edge. And the thing about Manaus too, we train a lot. Like, you know what I mean? I remember just going there 4 in the afternoon and leave 8 at night, and we did like 50 sparring sessions. You know what I mean? It's a lot of that, a lot of grit. But when I moved to Rio, I felt the difference of finesse. You know what I mean? That's where one thing that definitely I felt right away the difference. Man, those people are very technical. That's when going to Gracie Humaita, learning from Hoyle, I'm like, oh, that's Jiu-Jitsu.
The people in Rio were more technical.
Way more technical. Yeah, because you drink from the fountain, right? Like you have Hoyle Gracie, guys that really go to that idea of the minimal effort, like Helio Gracie style, you know? And I think I'm very lucky from having learned from both ways, you know, from Manaus, I train a lot, you know, as many rounds as you can do, you know, running and climbing trees and stuff. And then I know I get to Rio, I'm very competitive, but I'm like, they have an edge on me because they're very technical. And then I mix that with Saulo. Saulo is just phenomenal brain, very smart about jiu-jitsu, very smart about feeling people's energy. And there's a whole spiritual side on that too. Understanding like where things going wrong. And I was like, whoa. And then that's when, like, right away, once I kind of got into that idea of, like, the finesse of jiu-jitsu, and that's, I think, when my jiu-jitsu just went uphill and I ended up winning everything that that mattered at the time. You know, so I think that was the biggest difference. You know, in Manaus, everybody's like, you know, but then once you get to the idea of, like, all right, what's really the jiu-jitsu part of it, you know what I mean? I think that's what was missing in Manaus. And I think Mika, I never had the chance to train with him yet. But a lot of people that trains with him says that he's very loose. He lets you do stuff. You know what I mean? He's not really competitive in training. Again, it's just what I heard. But he lets things happen. You know what I mean? And also, I always have that mentality too. It's just training, right? So if I got to a position where now I have to be competitive against you, now I'm not playing technique. I'm just playing ego. You know, and it's stuff like that. And I think I'm very happy, not just him as a champion, but also what he represents. You know what I mean? He's very careful the way he treats his image. I think he's also very authentic about it. You know, he just doesn't do that. You know, he's very family-oriented. It's a power couple with his girlfriend, you know, like Olympian champion. I think that makes it all. You know, also, you know, he doesn't drink. He doesn't fall into that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just happy that we have people like Mika, like Tainan, that they're great examples for the generation to come.
Yeah, it's nice when jiu-jitsu builds like good character as well, you know, and definitely those guys have that. Mika's one of the nicest kids.
Yeah, I think like if you look at jiu-jitsu, I can go on and on, but I think the first thing is personal development. You know what I mean? The first thing about jiu-jitsu is personal development. It's someone that makes the decision to leave the couch to go train, to leave the couch and now I'm going to eat better. Like, so that's personal development. I'm talking about if you can perform an arm bar. The second element is self-defense, right? Usually I say the first self-defense is learn how to defend yourself versus yourself. Can I tumble? Can I hip escape? Can I stand up, right? So like awareness that it's a punch or is someone strangling you, right? It's just, I would say the emotional self-defense. Can I withstand pressure and not freak out? And then the third one is grappling. You know what I mean? So I think people go straight to grappling. You know, it miss the idea of like self-defense awareness, which is emotional, right? Because like I said, why maybe I never been in a street fight? Because my emotional self-defense was very good. I never fed into people's energy of aggression. Say, hey, no problem. I'm willing to step back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't need to prove myself in this bar environment.
Yeah,
like, I know.
And I'm talking about my 11-year-old boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 12-year-old boy. But also there's my family.
I've heard some stories about Brazil. You still might be in a bar at 11 or 12 in Brazil.
Yeah, you can. Like, yeah, like back in the day, like I said, I grew up around my parents and nobody, like, you know, even my daughter, like I drink in front of my daughter. Like, because for me, why am I going to refrain them from seeing something from me? Oh my God, I'm in the bar. Now they doing crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm very big into the idea of like, I'd rather them learn from me than learn from something else. So my dad, you know, he likes heavy beer. So for me, it was very common, you know, altercations and things like this. So it helps to come from a family, but also jiu-jitsu goes there and just legitimize all this. You know, and I think, again, you know, having Mika as not just a great champion, but a great human being just proves that, you know, that he has a lot of following. He's driving his BMW in Brazil. Hopefully it doesn't get stolen. You know what I mean? He's very valuable. You know, you guys know that. You know what I mean? He draws people to view and he draws people to consume. You know, so he's a really good spot right now. And I'm really happy that we have guys like him. You know, we had Gordon Ryan, maybe, you know what I mean, on that element of like, you know, the no-gi. He was a little more, you know, him, Craig Jones, they were a little more like, how can I say, you talk like a lot.
Rash and kind of.
No, like I forgot the word in English. Like making a scene, whatever, like more like from the part of like a retaliation, you know, and then you have Mika more of like, I'm just being myself and I'm being valuable for it. You know, so I think in the end, you can do whatever you want to do outside the mat. But if you don't go there, I can cast. You're nobody. You know, there's a certain point that all that idea that we were talking earlier about being funny, social media, or doing whatever, that just takes you too long. But the moment they start to lose, you're a clown. That's the only problem about it. If you win, people have to accept you. You know what I mean? If you lose, unfortunately, that's the name of the game. You know, so if you're willing to do some shit to get some views and maybe put your name out there, you gotta make sure you're capable to win. You know, and then we have guys like Nicky Rodriguez. He barely talks. You know what I mean? And he's there. You know, he does his job. He has his value. And then we have another level also, Victor Hugo. You know, he's a bit funny. He's a bit more stylish. He's more of like a lifestyle guy. You know what I mean? And I also go there and kick his ass. You know what I mean? Because again, if you're not proving on the mat your value, everything else is just a compliment.
For sure. You got something, Joe?
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about another Manowara, if you guys don't mind. He's going to be main eventing the next Who's Number One, Diego Pato. He seems like kind of like a guy who's coming up a lot in jiu-jitsu, making a lot of noise, especially with his crazy submission wins. What do you think about Diego Pato?
Well, you don't want to leave your foot around here.
Yeah, for real.
You know, it's one more creature from Manaus, you know. You know what I mean? He's with the AOJ now, right?
AOJ guy now, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, winning world championships, gi, no gi, and just, you know.
Yeah, he shows his complete assets. You know what I mean? Again, he's a guy that, you know, he doesn't really, again, he just does his job. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's authentic. I think authenticity for the real people, they're going to come up and see you. You know what I mean? Like the people that buy whatever is funny, they're the ones that comes and goes, and then they wait for the next person. I think guys like Pato, Mika, they're very authentic. Like Pato doesn't talk too much. He's very chill. You know, he's on his own world. He's happy with his life. That guy, once he's 35 years old, he's still going to be relevant to the people that believe in him. You know, other people, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm 44 years old. Even though you made me look old a minute ago.
Sorry.
But yeah, man, like I see guys like, hey, man, when I was a white belt and the guy has like 3 stripes on his black belt, I watched you and stuff. So make me believe in authenticity. It's okay to be funny. Like I have my funny side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not something that I really put that all the time. Like if I want to make like, even I make a little funny post yesterday with my daughter, you know, like dads against daughters dating, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit of funny, but also with a message.
Yeah.
You know? So I think if you can kind of add that, but I'm not going to be there just being funny all the time. And then you kind of lose yourself on it.
For sure.
Because I think if you lose yourself, you lose the most important thing about jiu-jitsu which is the ability to know who you are. Because man, when they lock the cage or the ref for this combat, there's no faking. You know what I mean? You better be fucking honest, sorry the word, about who you are and what are you willing to understand to get to where you want to be. Otherwise, you're just going to throw feathers out there and lose.
For sure. I'm curious what you think about, because we kind of are in this modern age of social media. It almost feels first, whether it should be, it definitely probably shouldn't be, but it does feel kind of first. I'm curious because with an athlete like Pato, I think Pato's a good example where Pato does have an incredible story. You know, he has not just like his whole life dedicated to jiu-jitsu and all these cool things he's done, but he has like really interesting, like awesome stories he could tell. Like I did a podcast episode with him and just got a glimpse into that. But for someone like Pato, from like a branding perspective, you know, do you kind of wish a guy like that would just talk more about some of their like life experience or like putting more of that out there, like their story, without kind of doing the extra, you know, needing to be a persona or anything like that?
No, I think it's your guys' job.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know,
I guess
like,
you're right.
Like, okay, I take me as example. Like, I have 35 years of history when jiu-jitsu was nothing. Nobody knows. You know what I mean? Like I was
educate us, Xande.
You know what I mean? I'm just giving an example. Sure. Like because I'm not like now. Of course, I'm getting to my age, you know, and stuff like this. I have other projects that maybe people want to know more about. Like I have victories against every single guy. Okay, every single guy that have won ADCC, I have either beat or competed against. Nobody knows. I was the last man to beat Andre Galvão before Gordon. You know what I mean? I beat every single ADCC absolute champion. In the gi, I'm 3 versus 2 against Roger, which is arguably great. I have a victory against Marcelo Garcia, and some people don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's just a matter of time. Maybe he's focused on being himself. Right? Maybe what he would maybe need a PR guy. Like I tell people, if I had like an IT guy that just looks at me and does everything for me online, I'll be very happy and I'll pay him very well. Because I'm not gonna be the guy. I don't have creativity to make videos. I don't have that, and I'm gonna be here talking about I'm that great. You know what I mean? My skills speak for itself. You know what I mean? I have arguably 17 world titles in different organizations. I'm twice Hall of Fame. Like I got my Hall of Fame. I didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's stuff like that. You know what I think? Like again, it's great that you guys recognize that. And I think, like I said, a company like FloGrappling that can educate people and bring history, even though there's no clicks on it, I think is important to somehow have the content to educate people that are willing to dig deep and learn about that, right? So in the case of, for example, Pato, you know, like, for example, Mika, right? He has like a team of like 10 people around him, you know? He has a guy follow him on the camera. He probably has people that tell him what to say, how to say. Not everybody has that. You know what I mean? And Pato is maybe is one of those examples. You know, he's like, you know, I just rather go train. I just rather have my coffee. You know what I mean? So I think it's about priorities. You know, maybe in a couple of years, his priority will be like, okay, let me get my accolades and then maybe do something about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's how it goes. You know, again, he's doing a great job being himself. And whatever comes after. Marketing is going to be always marketing when the time is right.
For sure. No, that is a good point, honestly. And I think that is hopefully somewhere, you know, where we've done some good over the years is telling the story of a lot of grapplers. And definitely, you know, we don't always nail it and we can be better and stuff, you know?
But I feel like Pato, like this, like you said, the timing's kind of right and wrong. And I feel like this past year, Pato's, I feel like really coming out of his shell and kind of showing off his personality a lot more.
All right.
Backflips,
exactly. The biggest example ever. Guess who it is? The Meow Brothers.
Yeah, true.
Goodness, you could not get a word out of those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you follow Joao Meow now?
I have always followed. I know João since he's a purple belt.
He shows his funny side a lot on Instagram now.
Like, yeah, and the funny thing when you are with them is who they are.
Yeah.
Maybe they just had that thing on them because I never really knew them on the personal level because what they did, they're focused on training 12 hours a day.
Yeah. No time to get to know them.
Yeah, like how you gonna even bloom something of your personality if it's not that you have time? For example, I go out, right? You guys have been out with me. Okay, Xande has a beer. He's the funniest guy ever. But then once the beer's gone, I'm back to be Sensei Xande. You know what I mean? But I have time to expose the sides of my personality. And they never had that because they're focused on do their job. Now it's hilarious. Like even their creativity, like how like I think Paolo does this whole like kind of even like funny little not sexual but like the whole like couple thing like they do like a little cuddling and then he goes like, all right, that's how you do after this. It's hilarious. I love it. You know, so I think time will come. You know, for the Patos, for whoever out there, you know what I mean? Again, authenticity. If you feel like you accomplished something, it's time for you to maybe, you know, get the phones and get someone. Like there's a lot of people nowadays. Maybe you're there that is good on social media. Just pick a good athlete. You know, work with them, create content from them. Be the person that's gonna be with them. You know, because when they make it, they're gonna know that you are with them. You know, and I think that's important. It's a job that never existed, like content creator.
Yeah.
Digital marketer. That job is
For jiu-jitsu.
for everything. I think like content creating for like even the job itself never existed.
Sure.
It was like marketing and publicity and editing, but now I'm a content creator and people make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity.
Wait, they do?
Not us.
Wait, what's going? People make money doing this?
All right, I hope
okay.
I hope they do. You know, like I said, depends who you work with.
It certainly is like a very new thing. Like that is actually my title here at Flow is content creator of FloGrappling. And I almost think it's funny. Like I almost don't like telling people that sometimes. Like say I'm from Kansas, which is kind of like a very rural, you know,
Blue collar.
yeah, blue collar place. And when I have to tell my family like, oh, I'm a content creator, they don't even know what I'm talking about. They're like, I don't know what that is.
You are a part of marketing and branding that didn't existed.
Yeah.
That like maybe you caught about people that write script. You were a scripter, like in the back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Like on the when TV was a thing.
Yeah, writing movies. And,
Yeah, like you're like a writer, a roteiro. I don't know how to say that in English. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
But now the problem, not the problem, which is good because now content creation is an ongoing thing, right? If you post something on Twitter, 5 minutes later is irrelevant.
Yeah.
You post something on Instagram, 2 hours later is irrelevant. You know what I mean? So you have to study. It's a lot of studying. Like the algorithms are always changed. I even remember like the whole idea of SEO, for example. I remember like, for example, Jiu-Jitsu in Austin. If you buy the website jiujitsuinaustin.com, you're the number one. And then Google discovered, no, that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's if it's a website, and then later on people are doing like ghost pages, just say Jiu-Jitsu, and now they know that's not. So it's ever changing. So. Yeah. The metamorphosis of marketing, of what people are consuming or viewing, you know, it keeps changing. I think the content creator has to have one of the pillars of FloGrappling, curiosity.
Yeah.
What's happening? You know what I mean? And now on the blades, have the attitude to like try and error, you know what I mean? And have to discipline to do this every day. So it's not easy at all, you know what I mean? So if you think about it, you should tell, hey, imagine me telling my mom, I was in law school telling her, I'm going to stop law school, getting a diploma, to become a jiu-jitsu teacher. In 2001.
How'd she take that?
Are you fucking crazy? Was I poor?
She wasn't pumped, huh?
She wasn't pumped at all. Like, you know, if you had a girlfriend in Brazil and you say her dad, like, hey, I'm a ballet dancer. Oh my God, you're amazing. Well, also I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter. Oh, you're a thug. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So come on, man.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's go.
Hey, Dad. He's a content creator.
Yeah,
you go.
for sure.
That's a very important job.
Definitely.
Got the blessing from Xande.
Yep.
So.
You talked a little bit about kind of like a lot of your accolades and how like maybe a lot of people don't know that. There's one series, you know, because now we're in this space, I want to pitch you some ideas. There's one series I think we should make here at Flow. I want to work on a Legends series, like just called Legends, where we look back at some of kind of the legends of the sport and kind of tell them.
Can I be a legend if I'm still alive?
Of course. Yeah, of course you can. But I think that would be a cool project to dive into, and just kind of, that way we get all the legends talking about all the legends, you know? It's like you talking about Hodger talking about you, Andre, Jacare, all those guys.
I fought all them and I beat all them.
Exactly, and kind of telling a lot more of those stories. You know, I think that would be an interesting little
Like you said,
aspect.
we gotta educate more of these white belts and blue belts and stuff. You know?
Man, and I think like I'm in a good position. That's me pitching. That I've been in all these eras, all these generations, and the thing about me, I'm like in a half generation, right? Because I'm a half generation in front of Roger, you know what I mean? And a half generation behind Saulo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not like, if I would get my black belt maybe a year or two later, I'll be like at Jacare and Roger. You know what I mean? So I'm in this middle thing. I fought Gordo. You know, I could have fought Fabio Gurgel in 2001, but he fought Margarita. So
You're probably the only guy to fight Gordo and Gordon.
yeah.
For
Gordo and Girdle. You know what I mean? And now, like, I don't know, man. I'm coming back, so
Let's go.
I might fight whoever comes out of the 5,000 year generation after. You know what I mean? And also, like, you know, it's good because I was looking at the pillars of FloGrappling. One is this curiosity, right? And they have always been one of my biggest traits. Why I know a lot about everything? Because I'm freaking curious. Like, oh, my voice is going over there. Oh, is this cable? How does this cable work? It's made of what? Like, I'm very like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when I teach Jiu-Jitsu, I'm talking about how the fiber of my muscle is fired when I do a certain technique. So I think curiosity, it's a big thing. No, I want to know everything. You know what I mean? I want to know things that are relevant for things that I love. That's why if you ask me about this generation, I know about them. You can ask me about any generation. Helio Gracie, if you ask him about Helio Gracie. I freaking know Helio Gracie. I trained with Helio Gracie once. You know what I mean? I know about my brother's generation. I know about, you know, Elvecchio. I fought Elvecchio. You know what I mean? The guy fought until he was 50. You know? Bia and Mackenzie, they're in their diapers. You know what I mean? When I was hanging out with them and and knowing them. You know what I mean? Like even guys, sometimes I have like, even João Gabriel told me a funny story about how his father told me, you should go and just bump Xande's elbow because he's a champion. You should get the energy of the champion. And when he told me that, I was like, wow. Like that made me very emotional. Like he's very shy. And I was like, wow, João, man, thank you so much, you know, because it matters, you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm very curious. Of course, I just have enough bandwidth for curiosity.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it people who they are, you know, just stay, you know, young on that level. You know what I mean? Like I said, my daughter, stay young, wild, and free.
That's right.
You know what I mean? If it costs my freedom and my curiosity, it's too expensive.
We're trying to keep
Definitely.
it.
I want to dive into some of your matches and watch some of those with you and then talk about this upcoming Euros. But I have one more question because you kind of brought up some of the stuff about the Amazon. And one thing you mentioned was ayahuasca. You don't have to bring it up if you don't want to. You got any crazy ayahuasca stories or anything?
Actually, yes. Actually, today is what? Today it's been 1 year since my ayahuasca experience in Costa Rica. Actually, there is a little documentary right now that we just posted today about my experience there. It was super powerful.
Oh, cool.
Where can people find that?
On my Instagram, I put the link there. It's called the Rhythmia documentary. So basically, I was invited to do so.
Is this the same thing Dean Lister did? I remember a Dean Lister ayahuasca.
No. That was very Kelly Slater's behind it. So I was invited by Men's Health Magazine and Mike Sorelli, John Walburn. So basically, how the plant medicine can help high achievers to cope with life. That was the pitch, the first idea. And then I ended up flying to Costa Rica. Ended up with me, Mike Sorelli, and Shap. Shap is a guy that he's in a TV show, kind of like the Housewives, North Carolina for 10 years. We're about 65 people. That was powerful. They made me do a video after each ceremony, and I never watched it until last night with my daughter. It's crazy how I go all over, but it was very special. I did find my miracle. So Rhythmia, it's a place in Costa Rica. it's basically a resort, right? It's not. It's not in the Amazon, but the shamans are amazing. I could go on and on with that. If you go to the Amazon, just make sure you find a proper person, because this idea of healing now has become a little trend, just like Jiu-Jitsu, and I think are misusing that a lot. They always high. But what about real life? What about actually putting in action whatever journey you had? So it's been super special this week for me. I'm kind of even a little bit emotional about things with my people, because it's been a whole year. So I was there for 7 days, and we did the ceremony for 4 days straight.
Wow.
And each night was an experience on that. So if you go on my Instagram, there's a little teaser there, but then you can link. It's a 26-minute documentary. Super special.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah,
Everyone at home, go watch that if you want to learn more about Xande's ayahuasca journey. I bet that's incredible.
Well, it's not just about me. It's me and the guys. It's basically just talking about ayahuasca itself and use us a little bit of our experience with it.
Okay, awesome. Well, Joe, what matches you got queued up we could watch here with Xande?
Sure, pulled a couple, have some of the younger Six Blade guys as well, but I figured we may as well start in the gi. This is back in 2010, so you had already been quite a veteran black belt.
2008, brother.
It's
me, Alexandre.
It is Alexandre. So Ever, if we could get this up on the big board now, would be ideal. But this is the World Championships. IBJJF says it's 2010. Maybe they're incorrect. I would trust the man himself.
No, you're right. That's 2010. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember that one. Yeah, I know, because I have a Bad Boy sponsorship. I lost that one to Bernardo.
Gotcha.
I don't remember how I fought him.
This is going to be a finish, though.
Is it? Yeah, as usual, just hand the collar, collar sleeve. I was attacking the neck. Things that piss me off nowadays, nobody can do a little grace choke from the guard. It's my criticism about IBJJF. A lot of sleeve holding and not attacking.
Helio Gracie choke, meaning like a cross choke.
Cross choke from the guard, yeah. I always like to give people I have like the Pé de Pano sweep. I have like the Lucas Leite hook. I have the Roger sweep. I don't know. I like to talk about my bros.
Yeah. This is one of the best parts of jiu-jitsu,
Yeah, because it's not like Japan, you know what I mean? Ashigarami, Kozuri Kezagatami, we just make, people are complaining about Eddie Bravo, but he was a genius before we always thought about it, I just don't think about the missionary position. It's a good one, but everything else.
You like homie control?
Eddie's a wild man.
Homie control.
Yeah, you making the homie control?
What about crackhead control? You ever playing crackhead control?
I have no clue there is. Oh, but it works for coaching.
For sure.
See, always attacking. See, I have no clue what sweeping is. I usually say I don't run a janitorial company.
They're not going to be sweeping?
No.
Just submitting.
The thing is, man, you do all that exercises and bench pressing to go and grab someone's leg. I'd rather use my legs against someone's arm.
True.
It's just physics in the end. See, 2-on-1, never changed.
Would you get nervous before big matches and stuff like that?
I like to have a little bit of a fight and fly kind of like nervousness. You know what I mean? Like usually my worst championships or the ones I was too chill. People are always looking for that attack. See, it's super simple, just keep him at bait all the time. Like I said, man, like a lot of people, they know how to clean the mats a lot, but they don't know how to actually finish anything. Again, guy, like I say like this just so maybe like the way I talk just spark something on you. One time I was teaching my guys a cross choke and they were like laughing about it. I said, okay, guys, today just cross choke. A minute into practice, one white belt has his mouth full of blood because one of my black belts couldn't choke them nicely. I usually say that like being a finisher is like a neurosurgeon.
Precision.
Precision. Lucas Lepre. Precision, adjustment, patience, timing. Like I spend like 90% of my time working on finishes. I don't spend time working on sweeping. I use sweeping more for like drilling and stuff. I use more to like up my heartbeat, because like you have to sweep, that kind of mindset. I think that's good for like getting the conditioning down. But everything else, partial sparring, it's a lot of like Tusa.
This is a Tusa fight. I believe this is
all right.
2012.
Okay, guys. Isn't that the most beautiful IBJJF finish ever.
This is going to be a sweet IBJJF finish. This is one of my favorite IBJJF finishes.
You know, that's funny. Nobody knows, but I fought Leo Nogueira on Saturday, and I messed up my groin. So I had to really fought very bad. Right? Because I always feel like this, right? I'm going to do 8 matches. I don't care. I'm going to fight very conservative and leave it to the end. Because that's always be my mindset, right? And I was doing that. I was very boring. I can say I wasn't really in a good day. And then I hurt my groin. And I was like, shit. So anyway, I opened my Twitter. And this guy tweets, Xande is going to be the boringest fighter out there. I was like, motherfucker. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
And then when I got too comfortable. And I was like, I got to do something crazy. And I saw Tusa's before fight on that. And I kept seeing him very like cross collar and like kind of like macho holding with a stiff arm. If you see right before the reason that it looks so sweet is because he's really trying to post his. So I catch. If you look, I actually move myself back to the gi and I pull his arm down. And as he's extending his arm, that's when I jump. And by the way, I never practiced that ever.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not like a flying submission guy. Like, how often are you working on that?
I have like 2 flying arm locks. I have a couple flying triangles until I fire my shoulder and I said, fuck that, no more. Yeah, that was a good fight, man. Tusa is such a good guy. I love him. Little coach Gary to leg pick, boom.
Something I feel like you get known for because you have the guard pass, or like you have the thing, nobody's passed your guard so many times. People know you for your guard so much, but your judo skills were always, like look at the Hadra match, we're able to show the great judo there, and I feel like that's really underrated in your game.
Why they give me 2 points? Okay, I took it off. Yeah, man, the thing is like every fight starts standing, right? So again, self-development. Huh?
Is that the referee, Augusto Mendes?
Yeah, Tanquinho, yeah.
Oh, cool. Sorry.
So, self-development, self-defense, takedown, grappling. Come on, you got to take people down, man. Of course, guard pull is a strategy. I'm not against it. I'm a guard puller myself. Look, I think it's... See how his right arm is there? And I pull him down. And I think I'm going to step to the left a little bit. Boom. See, I go back and then I boom. Yeah. All right, Twitter guy.
If I was that guy, I would be like, man, amazing.
12 years later, let's talk.
So you knew that opportunity was going to be there at some point.
Well, because he kept doing that the whole fight. Yeah. I was like, man, he's really doing that. He's really doing that. And see, I kind of like spin back to the center. See how his arm is super strong there. And I also had the same grip.
It's very Mika-like, actually.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I was doing before Nick was cool.
Yeah, I'm sure Mika got a little inspiration.
Hey, man, there's a video of mine there, man. Like I was like, man, did I do all that?
See Salo going crazy in the background.
I do all that.
Yeah.
Right by the Gracie Baja team too, right there.
Yeah. See, I never aged a bit.
Still look the same, bro.
100%. Do you have your favorite technique ever? Do you have something that's your go-to? This is the Xande Ribeiro. This is the thing I love doing in competition or in the gym.
No, I don't really. Like I said, man, I like to keep it curious, right? I do everything in training. I try stuff. If you tell me go leg lock today, I'll go try leg lock you, even though I may lose a training session. I'm never really worried about that. Of course, you have little things that I really known for. My mount, I really love my mount position, reversing mount, which means close guard, my side control. Those are places. Like I said, I don't have a favorite technique. I like favorite places to be.
Gotcha.
My number one is always going to be the mount because it's such a dominant position. It's not a killing position like a back, but I think Lovato likes to say, like, if I train to mount you, I get a lot out of it. I get control. My side control has to be good. So there's a lot of things that has to be perfect by the time I mount you. And I don't mount you like by an accident. You can take someone's back by accident, but you're never going to mount someone by accident. You know what I mean? So I think those little things, there are always challenges that I think hone your jiu-jitsu to the better. You know what I mean? I see people like mounting people and took away from the mount because they don't have the skills to finish. It still is a skill sport. I just like to play everything.
You mess around with the smother choke at all from mount?
Saulo created a smother choke, bro. Like
Okay.
like I said, everything that people do today, they just renamed it.
For sure.
Like Saulo being smothered people. If you have 2007, sorry, Tusa and I smother him before I Ezekiel him. No, if you want me to talk about Victor, I'll talk about Victor. But just so you know,
Yeah.
like all my Ezekiels comes from his mother. I just don't make a point to smother someone, you know, in competition because I just want to finish it. You know what I mean? But of course, you can put your chest on someone's and just put your tits in there. That's one thing. But there's a little smother that I do on my shoulder that gives the people to like to breathe, and then I choke them. You know, Ezekiel, I did that against Braulio. I did that against Tusa, a couple guys. We be doing that all over. Just internet wasn't there.
Yeah.
I feel like we've shown some
let 'em-
Tusa getting tapped out. I feel like we might be.
Yeah, sorry, Tusa. I love Tusa, man. Tusa was the first guy when Gracie Barra disrespected me that came and talked to me.
Yeah.
Him and Braulio. You know, I really love Tusa. I know his father. We fought a lot. And it's interesting how they have such a love for me, and I really appreciate people that all of a sudden like they really respect you and care. For me, it's not about respect. It's not like because I'm Xande, you know what I mean? It's about like you having an issue. I want to make sure I'm okay with that. You know, so I really appreciate Tusa and Braulio. I think outside of my team, you know, Braulio, you know, we've been a lot of things together. You know, I was in his wedding. We do grapple escape together. I also say, hey, Xande, you know I'm not part of this. I know who did it. We make peace with that. But it's all good.
All good.
For sure. Let's watch this Victor Hugo. This is in the World's Absolute, right? This is 2022.
This is a big moment.
For sure.
Big match here.
All right,
sure.
freeze. Stop. All right, IBJJF. Let's have a talk.
Let's watch this.
Here we go.
No. It's not about that. Just right there. There. Okay. You mess with the cotton. You make the whole gi industry change their stuff. But you allow guys to fight with a no-gi gi. That's a no-gi gi. Look at that. Look what the pants are. You know what I mean?
Pretty close to the knee, I'll say.
Guys, come on, man. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
No gi.
like you know, instead of change the fabric, which how are you gonna prove that that's not a cotton gi? I can just take the tag off. Who's gonna say it's polyester or cotton? But that, how he's gonna pass? Look at that, man. You know what I mean? I was having fun with my guy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of no gi gis out there. So no gi is ruling jiu-jitsu. So that's just my rant for now. Look at that.
I will
Look,
say,
nothing against him. He's an amazing fighter. He's doing the rules, but look at that, man.
it didn't stop Victor though, huh?
Of course.
Eric's a tall guy. He's got to get one of those, whatever.
Doesn't matter. You have a sponsorship. You got to be a A4L.
Yeah.
You got to be able to squat, and your pants has to be... Look at that, man. It's above his calf. And you want to change the cotton? Come on. Even though people don't even wear polyester like underwear anymore. Yeah, that's something that I was kind of pissed of it. I say, do not let him close the guard. But yeah, but interesting about that fight is that, you know, he's doing the lapel. I think you have to fast forward a little bit because, you know, the thing is like how they say like your blast is a curse. So he got caught on his own gi when he sweep Victor, boom. And he capped that grip for a little too long, and now Victor goes his legs, boom, right there. You know, so if maybe he didn't sweep him like that.
Boom. Absolute world final. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, you can add to my accolades, I'm the only absolute champion that built an absolute champion.
There you go.
That's impressive.
You don't see too
impressive
many.
feat.
You don't honestly see too many submissions in the absolute final these days.
yeah.
So
Like never.
especially like a
Yeah,
2 minute,
Lovato.
1 minute. And Eric obviously was having a big tournament. He's
Dude, that kid is amazing, you know. Another, like I said, talk about like a Pato looking guy. It's
Yeah.
him. But look at that, man. He's sponsored by Reebok. You know, he's a great salary, I believe, in Brazil, maybe. You know, so he's a guy that doesn't have to. He puts his belief on his gi, you know, soldier of God. You know, it's what it is. You know, people like that. You know, such cool kid, great family as well. You know, all the brothers train. and that's what jiu-jitsu needs,
And so you're saying right there, just if you could replay it again, Joe, like he held on to the grip, the lapel grip too long?
Yeah, he still had the lapel. See, like now Vitor just uses that
That's where he
knee there.
likes it.
Yeah, and I think like he's intertwined into Vitor's. Like as far as strategy, I don't think I would exchange leg to leg with Vitor.
And I wouldn't exchange anything with Victor. I would exchange my wallet and hope
Well,
Victor.
for that matter, you know
it's
what I
cool with
mean?
it.
Like, if you maybe a smaller guy, maybe I can kind of go behind it because then you can kind of like tweak it a little bit. But I think like Eric is very long.
Yeah.
And I see, like he still have that, but see Vitor, see like his foot is all the way there, like almost like a X guard or whatever. Boom, and then Vitor just. But also, there's things that only Vitor can do as a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something you've seen Victor do before in the training room? Or
Oh
is this-
yeah, he's been doing that crazy stuff since forever. If you look at his like blue belts and purple belts, he's the guy, man. He flew all over people. He always have done that. And one of the main things for me, my nephew the other day he told me something like this: "Oh, if I can do advanced, I can do basic." Like, nope, that's the mindset they're gonna get to kill. Mastery is a continuous learn. There's never mastery. You never master something and that's it. It's a continuous work. So you can do a berimbolo, but if you don't go back and learn how to open a guard, you're not going to be able to open a guard. You know what I mean? I think that's what's important to do. You always have to work in everything. In jiu-jitsu, there's never something you don't work on.
I remember meeting Victor back in at University of Jiu-Jitsu. You guys brought him in. He was just a purple belt. Like didn't speak a word really of English. And I remember filming a video with you guys at University of Jiu-Jitsu. And Victor was there as a purple belt, and just to see how far he's come.
Yeah.
And, he was big, but he's a little smaller.
Yeah, he's a big proof of the work that we have done with our athletes. We all know that leaving from sport is very difficult. And I always told him, hey, we're training you to be a champion, but you have to hone other skills. You have to be an entrepreneur. You have to be a manager. You have to know how to manage your life. You need to know manage your food. You need to know how to, be a leader, teach jiu-jitsu. Because in the end, man, 1% of the people are really going to make. Like, people look, oh, I want to be like Mika. No, Mika is one in like a million.
Yeah.
If not more. I want to be like Gordon Ryan. Like, you can't. You know what I mean? In the end, whatever you put in financially and time-wise does not compensate. It's going to be for a feel. So if you don't have all the skills, such a content creator, or you do something in your academy, you teach jiu-jitsu, you're a front desk, you do sales. So you have to create skills besides being a fighter. And I think Vitor, I really love Vitor also because he really trusted on the process that we had for him. When COVID hit, and Saulo moved back to Brazil, and he said, you take care of the team, you can make the changes you want to do. I'm going to go back and be a lawyer. I'm just, I just can't, I don't have bandwidth for that. I have all the, my dad, he wanted to go back to my dad. So that transition made me very uncomfortable in a way that like, wow, now I have to lead those guys. And at the time, like I said, we closed the university because, they took the building back. I was already planning to move to, now I'm like, shit, now I have to stay in California, or do I go with my project? And I told Victor, I say, hey man, I'm going to be very honest with you. It's going to be a transition moment. You're more than welcome to pick a better place for you. And he just told him, no, the better place for me is listen to what you have for me.
Wow.
And I told him like, hey, I call Lovato and say, hey bro, I'm in this little conundrum, I don't know if I'm going to stay here, if I should put it down, my Austin plans, if I should maybe talk to the people that got the university back. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Can Victor stay with you? So Victor stayed there. Interesting enough, he got there, found a girlfriend. Now he has a fiance. They live together. He's a business owner. Lake Travis has, 200 students. He does not need to compete. And for me, that's what it is. And it is the same thing we're doing with the next man on the podium is Felipe Costa. You know what I mean? He never came to us earlier because he's actually a physiotherapist. He finished college, he finished his education, and now he's kicking ass.
Yeah, let's go ahead and roll this Felipe Costa in the Nogi Worlds final. This one just happened this past December.
Big year.
Yeah, for sure.
One of our breakout nominees for the year. Ended up getting a ton of votes, a ton of recognition. But yeah, just watching Felipe throughout the year, he turned up to the Nogi or to the ADCC trials, and was kind of not a surprise winner, but helped make a name there. And then at ADCC had a crazy run. Places third, and then this whole weekend.
I think watching from the outside, it's like we kind of knew that obviously Felipe is good, but I think we even, at least for me, we were a little surprised that he was this good too, to be honest.
A lot of my work with him, which I usually tell my guys, again, like I said, like I'm a good guy, but I do have a dark side that stays dormant there. My Hannibal Lecter I keep there. That's why I never got in a fight. So we have a group of so nice people, man. Like Philippe, Victor, they're so nice. And sometimes in there, being nice is not going to get you there. So if you want to be a nice person, make sure you're there. You have the ability to pull the trigger and be mean, right? Not be mean, because jiu-jitsu is a skillful sport still. So in his case, that's what I wanted him to flip the switch a little and just sometimes, sorry the word, just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And that's what happened there, because he wanted to wrestle the guy. And I say, bro, like I want to wrestle him. I say, if it doesn't work, are you going to be there? Just pull guard and get on top. Once you get on top, fight's over. And that's what happened, He was able to pull guard. Next thing I know, he's on top. And then, guys, the Ribeiro flow pressure finish style. Now it's all the game, man. You know what I mean? That once you get to that top position, there is no secret. If you look at guys like, I'll name Gordon, ourselves, Lovato, Saulo. From there, it's over. It's just get to the mount and finish. And
what did this title mean to Felipe? Because he's been on the grind for a little while. What did this one mean for him, the Nogi World title?
I think he's still digesting it. You know what I mean? I think for kids like him, he came from San Luis, a state that there's no really history with jiu-jitsu. He left his home. Now he's in America, has to adapt. His visa just came in. Use your first world title. You know what I mean? And there's nothing more important. I think more happy than you accomplish a goal. But for me, I'm a little like, yeah, whatever. Let's go back to work. You know what I mean? Man. And that was a Saturday. We kind of went out and dancing. 1 o'clock we left, got some food, got on the plane next day. Monday, 6:30, he was training. And I think that's what shows what the champion is, I usually tell people, you were only the champion during that fight. From the moment the referee puts your arm down, you were a champion. The moment in time is gone. And if you let that become who you are, it could be a problem.
The work's always there to be done.
Because you're a champion, doesn't matter what. If your arm is raised or not, you are a champion.
And is Felipe still on the come up? Have we not seen the best of Felipe?
Nah, I think, honestly, I think he's about 30. That's just me being an asshole coach. But yeah, man, like I said, for me, the biggest work that I do with my guys is their emotional strength. You know what I mean? Be able to withstand pressure and believe in themselves even when no one else does. And even sometimes I tell my guys, man, it seems sometimes like I believe in you guys more than you do yourself. So maybe I will start to believe less. So maybe you believe more. You know what I mean? And things like this. But for me, it's just mathematics. You know what I mean? 2 + 2 is still 4. Even though they were talking about 2 + 2 is still be 5 or 3.99. But for me, it's simple, man. Once you get to close quarters, get to that pressure position, it's all so simple. If you try to complicate it, that's when you become problem. You know what I mean? That's cool that, like I said, he listens. He understands that training is training. You know what I mean? It's okay to have a bad day. You know what I mean? You have a bad day, and that's what happens.
Definitely. So we don't have a lot of time left. I know you wanted to get out of here around 4:30, so I want to just ask you here about your return to the IBJJF European Championship. So we saw your name in the mix there. Obviously, that's an exciting thing when you see Xande Ribeiro is going to be taking the competition mats again. But what made you want to return and compete at the Euros?
Just making clear, I never retired from Jiu-Jitsu. I retired from World Championships. like I said, I'll be 44 years old next year. It's very difficult. I really appreciate when people say I could still do it. Sometimes I go back and feel that even 2022, even both ADCC and Worlds, I retired from both of those competitions. I could have done things differently as far as my preparation for that. I was 100% in shape. There's zero issue with that. I was probably the most in shape in the room. But just the timing on competition was I had a lot on my brain. I have a lot on my head, build the business. I remember even walking to my fight, I had to deal with things like little 5 minutes before. You know, like the day that I compete, I don't even like to think about if I'm going to turn the signal to turn left and right. I just want to know what I'm going to do there, right? So I retired from that. You know, doing Worlds is very difficult. It's a lot of issues. I'm 44 years old. It's very difficult to go there, you know, withstand training that requires to be there. And I always said that you don't retire from Jiu-Jitsu, you just become masters, right? I've been competing masters since I turned 30 years old. I did the first World's Masters in America. I won that. I have actually a couple losses in the Master Division. And for me, of course, I think I'm still on that little I'm too old for this to actually go and face a couple good guys in super fights. So one of the reasons that I want to back competing is because I want to be able, you know, I always told who's number one, I would like to be on that stage. There's a couple other events that would like to have me, but I do need time on the mats. Even like training for this tournament, I'm like, what am I doing? You know, and also one of the things that I'm focused on is going more into places where people never had this chance to watch me. And I think Europe is a market that's super open. People don't know me there, and even though we have an association, I wanna compete in Japan. I wanna compete in Asia. I just wanna have fun. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's important to still be playful on that world, and it just made sense. You know, European. I was there last year. I thought it was an amazing environment. A lot of people were there. We expanding 6 blades to Europe, so I think it was just perfect. You know, a perfect timing to it. You know, I spend my vacation, my holidays in shape, training as usual, you know. And also I think a lot of what's happening in Jiu-Jitsu is upset me a little bit is because there's a lot of connotations that I don't like, you know. And I think Mika and Tainan need some older brother to help them within that special example on people. You know, little over sexualization of Jiu-Jitsu is too much cussing, it's too much, I don't know, man. Like for me, one day I realized I'm doing this for the kids. You know, I want the kids to be, I'm not saying I'm perfect, right? As we hear, I'm cussing, I'm being myself, right? I'm in front of my daughter, you know? So I think it's important for me to still be relevant in a way that, like, you know, I have some stuff to say. And of course I have the urge to be on the mats with some good guys that come out there, you know? And another side of this is also, I think staying in shape for me as a human, as just a martial artist, is even keeps me sharper for my everyday life. You know, because you guys know, I like to party, I like to leave, I sleep late, I wake up early. So that was really taking a toll on me. And I think being in shape, sleeping early, like now I don't sleep later than midnight, which never happened even when I was in high school. You know, I'm like a night owl, you know, so like I'm watching what I eat. Natalia Chantry, she's been working with me, you know, John Walber, my conditioning and everything else, my students. I think like if my students are feeling more, I think like competing is not part of me, but I think living the life of a human athlete is part of me. And I cannot take that away from me. You know, I think also going to a competition is just putting a goal out there to even give you more motivation. By the way, I'm doing the Austin Marathon, February 16. Okay. All right, 6 Blades BJJ. We have a team. We have 12 people on the team. I'm doing the 5K, not the half marathon. Okay. It's just gonna be a fun day because also I'm planning on fighting the Austin Open. You know, in front of my students. That's also another reason that I want to fight, because my students don't watch. So there's a lot of reasons. So I'm doing for myself, of course, for my personal reasons, but I think there's a lot of people that still want to see Xande kick some ass. So that's a goal.
definitely. What division are you guys?
Not Shanji's.
Master one, I don't know. Might have to go ultra heavy or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm doing Master 3.
Okay.
Dude, there's like 30 some people. It's a tough division. I saw a couple of the names. It's difficult, man. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like my biggest issue, which I hope I'm not giving people, more weapons, is that I'm not using, like my jiu-jitsu is a longevity jiu-jitsu. So put me 10 minutes of Gordon Ryan, I'll do better than if you put me 5 minutes of Joe. You know what I mean? Sorry, Joe.
Let him know.
Well, it's just a name.
Yeah, I think that's a compliment.
Well, it's just a name. So, like, for me, I have to, like, basically fight like I'm doing a judo competition. You know what I mean? Like, because all my style, if you look at my fights, I'm not about, like, rhythm. I'm about consistency. Like, so all my fights are about 2.5 minutes to wear you down, like, whatever gets to a good position. And then from the 3rd to the 5th minute, I'm in a good position. And then all my submissions are from, like, the 6th to the 8th minute. Like, if you break down like that, because that's how my jiu-jitsu works. Now I have to
turn the pressure, the finish.
Yeah, now you have to turn it down to 5. You know what I mean? For me, that's the biggest issue with what I'm seeing right now. And now you're talking about 40. Like, man, those guys are jacked. Definitely. Like, dude, I walk around the master tournaments. TRT is okay, legal, which is, it makes sense for a 40-year-old man. You know what I mean?
And utilized.
Yeah, and like, man, it's not a joke. If I start behind, it's gonna be a freaking problem because the rule allows them to stall me for basically 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. So it's a big problem. You know what I mean? People think like, oh, Xande send it back. No, I'm very concerned. I'm taking very seriously. That's my division. I'm gonna compete on that division. I'm gonna do tournaments as a master, but definitely I'm looking forward to challenge myself against big names. You can put me anyone. If they can make to 10, I can fight anyone.
That would be awesome. I think, Xande on Who's Number One soon, that sounds
matches out there
pretty epic,
Well, like I said, man, I'm here to compete. Like I said, again, to bring maybe a little more notoriety for the event. Like I said, I love supporting. BJJ stars. I'm always promoting. I'm always posting events that really try to bring value to the sport. They're trying to be sustainable. All right, that's another thing that people don't understand. That like the business is still a business. It's a show. Is about being sustainable. Otherwise, you put all the money there. Now there's nothing. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, no. It has to be sustainable. It's about the number game. There is the consumers that can pay you to watch. Like I may not have a lot of clicks on Instagram, but for sure I have a lot of people that can buy FloGrappling to watch me fight. Definitely. And Flo knows that value. But also I cannot go there, hey, give me $1 million, not like that. So I think there's a lot to it. I think, like I said, I think Mika, Tainan, Danielle, 220, they need a little older brother to be there with them, to be an example. And I just hope I can, keep up. I hope I can demonstrate my jiu-jitsu. I hope, the rhythm will be back. I know it's going to be a little rusty. There's two things between being good in the academy versus being good in the tournament. European is going to be tough. I have 0 points, so I'm probably the last one on the list. So I'm probably going to fight. I'm going to fight the number 1 guys. Just look forward to see how it goes. I'm just doing my division. I don't have any expectations to do open division because I do have a team. I'm going to go slow and see how it goes.
Awesome.
Bringing up Daniel 220. We could talk for another hour about Daniel 220.
Dude, I love that kid.
That kid's awesome.
Dude, I love that kid, man. Like, I have right before ADCC, I sent him a message because I was Lovato and I sent him a voice message. And he sends me this cutest, most, like, man, interesting enough, when I heard his voice, I was like, man, that's it. That's what I need to go back for. You know what I mean? Wow. Like that's like because he's a jack kid and he's like, hi, sister Xande, like the hustle, like I just want to, but you can't do that, right? Like, you can't really like how to say like patronize people. Yeah. You can't do that, right? But yeah, man. So those are the things that really, and then there's all the issues we could go there, but we don't want to ruin the energy. But I think that's what it is, man. For the kids, for my students, and of course for my family. For our legacy, for myself, and for the FloGrappling grappling viewers. If you haven't had your FloGrappling subscription, if you want to watch me, it's about time you get yours.
That's right, yeah.
I remember Salo did the Euros maybe like 6 or 7 years ago too. Is that right?
That was the last time we did it.
Okay, that's the last time you both.
Yeah, I think you guys posted my takedowns. That was the last time. Was actually my birthday. So my birthday is just January 20th. I was hoping to compete on my birthday, but it's not gonna be on my birthday. But I'll be competing Fredson's birthday. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to like.
Yours is a fun one.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, be in the environment and fight for those guys. I think that would be super cool, and also promote on Six Blades and all that.
For sure. Well, we'll be out there in Lisbon, probably filming you, to be honest. That'll be awesome seeing you.
We got to go out for your birthday. It sounds like.
Yeah. No. My birthday. Watch out the constellation of the planets that's going to be aligned on January 25th.
Okay.
Going to be a lot of Austin people crazy because the planets are aligned for the first time in 1,000 years.
There we go. But everybody at home, make sure you're tuning in January 17th through the 25th. The Jiu-Jitsu World, we'll be in Lisbon, Portugal for the IBJJF European Championship. You can watch Xande compete, watch a lot of the competitors you know and love out there take the mats. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Xande, thank you for joining us. It's great having you. Great, talking some of the historical stuff. But everyone at home, make sure you tune in for the next one. We'll see you guys.